Welcome for the series of database management system. We have already discussed anomalies of unnormalized database and what are the normalization and advantages and disadvantages of normalization. When you have a table, a large table, if it does not have a if it does not have normalization rule applied on it, it will have certain problems. To avoid these problems, the scientist E.F. Codd has given certain normal forms. Practically, whenever we are applying the database normalization, the normalization which we apply is up to the 3NF. That is 1NF, 2NF and 3NF. It is sufficient for most of the databases. So we will see all the normal form, that is 1NF, 2NF and 3NF in details. So let's start with the first normal form. The first normal form is the normal form which applied onto the table. It has certain rules. Number one, each field should be atomic. That is a single value. We know that table contained the row and column. If we have a row and column which contain multiple value, so at that time we say that the table is not in the one normal form. For to become the table to become a one normal form, every field, every cell of a table should have an atomic value. It means that it should have a single value. Like for example, in this particular example here, we are again having a employee table which is containing employee number, name, contact number and department name. Here in the contact number, employee number E1 is having two records, two contact number, and employee 2 is also having a two contact number. So here this is the violation of first normal form, because according to the first normal form, we know that every cell should contain only one single value, but here we are having multiple values, so it is not allowed in 1NF. So to make this table in 1NF, what we need to do, we need to split the table into the multiple tables where the record, the contact number one contact number should belongs to only one row. Second is each column name must be unique. Here, when we are giving a column name, which in the database we say attribute, the name of the column is called attribute. So every column heading, every column name should be unique. Like if you are having a name, you cannot store the name multiple times. So there is only one column and it must be unique. They should not have a repeating column groups. So when we are having a column groups, it should not be having a repeating, it should not have a duplication. Each row must be a unique, must have primary key. We already discussed what is primary key and what is foreign key. Primary key is a key which we use for unique identification of a table. In every table, we will be having only one primary key which is used to identify the table uniquely. And when we consider 1NF, it is required in 1NF that every row must be unique. It have a primary key. Like for example, in this particular example, we can take employee number as a primary key. So these are the, if any table satisfy these properties, these rule, we say that the table is in 1NF. What are the four rules? Again, we will be repeating. Number one, each field must be atomic. Number two, each column name should be unique. Number three, it should not have a repeating group, column group. And number four, each row must be unique. If any table satisfy these properties, we say that the particular table is in 1NF. Now next is second normal form. second normal form is one bit higher than the first normal form. First normal form के लिए we will be having two important property. Number one property is every row or every cell should contain a single value, that is the atomic value. And number two, it should not have a repeating or duplication of data. For second normal form, again, we will be having a certain rules. Number one, the table should be in first normal form. To become the second normal form, table should be in the 1NF. And the second property is all non-key attribute must be dependent on primary key attribute. Means we need to remove all partial functional dependency. Now, what is partial functional dependency? We know that whenever we are having a primary key, in every table, we will be having one primary key and all the rest of the column can be identified by using that single primary key. So, if you have any table and if that table is having a primary key and if the columns which we want to identify can be identified by using one single primary key where we have used a composite key. At that time, it is called partial functional dependency. So, the second rule is like you can reframe this statement as it should have a full functional dependency, or you can say that we need to remove all partial functional dependency. Okay, if you see this example, see here, I have one table. The table is containing attribute A, B, C, D, E and F. Attribute A and B are the primary key. Okay, these are called composite key. Okay, for identifying the C, D, E and F, we should depend on the composite key which is A and B. Okay, so the attribute A and B are primary attribute and the attribute which is not in the set of composite key like C, D, E and F, these are called non-key attribute. If these non-key attributes are dependent on the primary key, we say that we are having full functional dependency. But if these non-key attributes can be identified by using one single primary key, at that time we say that this is the partial functional dependency. Like for example, here see, if AB, by using the AB, that is a composite key, if we are able to identify C, D, E, F, C, D, E and F, it is called full functional dependency. But if we C and D can identify by using only B, so the B is what? It is not a composite key, but it is one part of the composite key. So it is called partial functional dependency. So here in the second normal form, our main aim is to remove all the partial functional dependencies and to retain the full functional dependencies. So if the table, if any table satisfy these two property, number one, the table should be in 1NF. Number two, it should have a full functional dependency, or it does not have a partial functional dependency, or you can say that all non-key attribute must be dependent on all primary key attribute. So we say that the table is in the second normal form. I hope this is clear to you. We'll see two more normal forms in next lecture.